Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. It's Ben Verlander, host of Fox Sports' new baseball podcast, Flippin' Bats. Before today's episode, I wanted to share a sneak peek at the latest episode of Flippin' Bats, recorded live from Coors Field in Denver for the MLB All-Star Week. This clip showcases my journey to meet the first two-way All-Star in the history of the game, Angels pitcher and hitter Shohei Ohtani. What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Flippin' Bats with your host, Ben Verlander. We are live here from Coors Field in Denver. The Home Run Derby just finished up. We have an incredible episode for you guys. Today was Media Day here in Denver. We talked to a bunch of players, got a bunch of great content there. Also, I am going to walk you guys through the quest to meet Shohei Ohtani and how it all went down. All right, it is Sunday. We have entered Coors Field for the first time. Today is the Futures game. I know Ohtani's not here yet. We're just getting the lay of the land. Just figuring out our plan of attack. We are here, and we are live in Coors Field. Let's go. Hi guys, we're out here on the field. Futures Day. American League team is stretching behind me. Ohtani has not yet showed up, but he will. He's out there somewhere. So I'm on this quest to meet Shohei Ohtani. Yeah. Give me one tip or pointer. Like, what's something he's interested in that can get me in there, in on his good side?
Clash of Clans. If you know anything about pick his brain on Clash of Clans. There you go.
I'm looking for Ohtani. It is time. It's going to happen. I think that's where we get him. I think we get him right there. I just met Ohtani. My heart is pounding. I've met a million people in my life. None as cool as that. He's Babe Ruth. He's better than Babe Ruth. I can go home. To hear more, subscribe to Flippin' Bats on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. New episodes come out every Tuesday featuring candid one-on-one interviews with players from your favorite MLB teams, as well as talk about the current state of baseball. Now, back to Speak for Yourself.
Acho, who was nominated this morning for a primetime Emmy now?
Primetime, big dog.
You know, I said we got to handle sports first, got to take care of home.
Yeah.
But now you got to go try to beat everybody else at what they do best.
Dog.
Primetime.
Dog, you are the man, for real. I'm glad to just know you. You know there's 2 E's in the manual, right? And you already got 1 E, sports. Come on, primetime, hook my boy up. So y'all can hook me up. Let's get started with the NBA Finals. And Giannis, who put the Bucks on his back for a huge win in Game 3 on Sunday. Giannis dominated with a game-high 41 points and 13 rebounds. Lord, he has now scored over 40 points in back-to-back Drake games, putting him just 2 games behind Michael Jordan, who holds the record of 4 straight games with at least 40 points in the finals. So, Emmy Acho, part 1. What has Giannis proven so far in the finals?
To me, he's proven everything, Sal.
Everything?
Everything.
You know what that means, right?
Yes.
Everything.
Yes, everything. Whatever you want to name, you can name it. He's proven, 1, that he's in contention for the best player in the world. 2, he's proven that he is a clutch basketball player, not just a regular season clutch basketball player, but a postseason clutch basketball player. Number 3, I'm losing count, but I can keep going. Number 3, he's proven that you have to mention his name along the likes of LeBron, Shaq, KD, when you talk about finals dominance. Even though KD lost, KD had some dominant performances when he lost. We all know what LeBron James has done in the finals and what Shaquille O'Neal has done in the finals. Here's the thesis statement of Giannis, which if you hear nothing else about Giannis all day today, understand this.
I'm so glad they kept me off camera for all that. Keep going.
Understand this, Sal.
Lord.
You don't appreciate Giannis, and I'm personalizing this and saying
talk to
you
me.
don't.
Yeah.
You don't appreciate Giannis because you're not familiar with what he looks like.
What you mean?
His gameplay. What do I mean, Sel?
He Kevin Durant with muscles. I've seen that.
No. He's not. If he was, we'd appreciate him.
Well, he can't
But here's
shoot.
bingo. Giannis can't shoot. And because Giannis can't shoot, we are not familiar with that style of play. And at least if we're not familiar with it, we don't gravitate towards it. Because Giannis has the efficiency and the productivity of Shaquille O'Neal. But Shaquille O'Neal never left the paint. Giannis brings the ball up the court. Giannis is 6'11" with a handle, but he can't shoot. So we don't like that. If you can't shoot, you're not doing nothing for me, Giannis. However, you go 15 of 22, drop 40 points. Next game, you go 14 of 23, dropped 40 points, 13 of 17 from the free throw line. But because Giannis doesn't do it how we're used to seeing it done, we just don't like it. I compare Giannis to a Google phone and everybody else to the iPhone.
What's a Google phone?
A Google phone, exactly right.
Is that an Android?
No, it's a phone. Google has their own phone. And Google's phones actually have a better camera than the iPhone. High quality pixels, etc. They function with just as much efficiency, if not more, than the iPhone. But we all ask ourselves, what's a Google phone? Because we're not used to a Google phone. And so while it is actually just as efficient and just as productive as the iPhone, we're used to the iPhones because they slicker, they smoother, they got better commercials. But a Google phone is actually just as quality. Giannis is just as quality, productive, efficient as the greatest finals performers of all time. But because he don't look the part, we're like, he's still got a lot to prove. He ain't got nothing left to prove, big dog.
Dang, man. You put so much into that take. Now, maybe it's because you're nominated for so many damn Emmys, you know they're watching, so you got to do it like that. But, woo, you put a little too much on that. You know what I'm saying? That's like when you go to grandma's like, oh, I like your French toast, grandma. Let me have some more. She say, oh, baby, I'm going to make up a new batch. More nutmeg. You be like, nah, grandma, not more nutmeg. Now it just got sweet tooth up in here. You got sweet tooth up in here. When Giannis is shooting, they shooting. Made you look. Nobody looking out there when he's shooting because he can't shoot. And that's what his problem is. That's the problem right here. Let me give him his flowers first, because I'm going to give him half a dozen. He ain't getting a full dozen like you just gave him. He doesn't deserve a full dozen. He don't get no bouquet. He get the off-ramp flowers. You know what I'm talking about? Ralph's flowers. 6, not a dozen. He's great. He is great, 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 and improving. Why is he improving? Because they tried to build the Giannis wall in years past, and that hasn't translated in this series in terms of building a Giannis wall and stopping his game. He is finding ways to get through and penetrate and live where he's most comfortable in the paint and still getting his buckets. I love that. You said this, but let me say it a different way. In a world of shooters, he can still score without being able to really shoot. Now, that may sound like a slight, but in actuality, that is a guy who's like, look, these are my rules. These are my games. These are my tools, and I will use those accordingly and still get what I want. Basically, Giannis is dictating terms out there. He knows that he goes out there and tries to shoot from the three-point line. Oh, my God. 9 attempts in these finals so far. He's only made 3. Shooting 22%, fourth worst percentage from a 3 since 1980 in the finals. So somebody, Budenholzer, I don't know who knows him. You sound like it the way you fanboy him. You need to tell him, hey, bro, stop that part, because that's the only wart on your game right now. But if you look at him, Acho, and his Google phone he's trying to use, when we know that Jordan, LeBron, Steph, KD's, all the finals greats that we know, they all got the iPhone for a reason.
Yes, sir.
You know the easiest way to getting that ball in the basket is where Giannis lives, in the paint. But the second easiest way is, if you're going to get out the paint, learn how to work outside the paint. That's why I stop short of all the greatness in terms of accolades you give him, because he still has that limiting factor to his game. No, sir. Shooting is his undermine right there. His shooting is the one thing that you got to look at as a crutch for his game. And when they effectively put him in positions where he must shoot, that's when you see the worst version of Giannis. We have not yet seen that in these finals yet, but there's still a game of adjustments to play, and they may put him in those positions.
You are not wrong.
See, that's all.
However, you are incomplete. Had this conversation with somebody the other day, Sel. Everybody in life has baggage.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
So if you just look at one individual's baggage, just understand, the next individual you look at will have baggage as well. Everybody has flaws in their game.
Right.
Why do we highlight Giannis's as if they are some sort of extreme flaws? Steph Curry, he got no post game. Luka Doncic, he fatigues in the fourth quarter. LeBron James, when he was winning titles early on, he had no three-point shot. Everybody has flaws in their game. It's just Giannis's flaws we highlight because they're different than the other flaws. Because Steph can still shoot. LeBron still had a great mid-range, and Luka, obviously, he can shoot from anywhere on the floor. But all those players have limitations, and we've seen all of their limitations. So why do we continue to highlight Giannis's limitations and overlook everything he does well? Everybody got baggage in life. Understand that. And everybody in the NBA has shortcomings. Giannis does have a shortcoming. I would be ignorant and naive to act as though the dude has a great jump shot. We know he doesn't. But everybody got flaws.
Yeah.
Giannis is still finding a way to overcome his flaws and navigate the court efficiently and effectively, more so than just about anybody we have seen, while also getting dubs. Because remember, Sel.
No. First of all, he doesn't have dubs.
He has a dub.
See, that's what I'm saying. The hyperbole. Dub.
Okay, you got dubs in the playoffs. Singular. But look, here's what we ignored, and I ignored it as well. Remember when Giannis knocked out KD? Giannis calls KD the greatest player in the world. Brooklyn Nets, well, Milwaukee. I don't know why you're looking at me like that.
Knocked out KD? You mean knocked out Kyrie?
He knocked him out?
Knocked half of Harden. He didn't knock out KD.
I know one team won the game, and the team that won the series had Giannis on it.
Team talk.
However, we ignored the fact that Giannis led his team, the collection, to victory. We ignored the fact that Game 7, can we admit, is more important than Game 5 in any series?
Brooke Lopez had 33 in Game 5.
Can we admit that Game 7
Chris Middleton had on the
Can we admit that Game 7?
No, because it's going to help your point. I ain't admitting
jack. In life, Game 7 is more important than Game 5.
I don't know. We had to get to Game 7. I thought that was important as well.
But once you were there, Game 7 is more important.
Game 7. Play football. Keep talking.
Kevin Durant, Marcellus Wiley was 0 for 6 in Game 7 in overtime. Yeah. So the biggest moment of the biggest game.
Wait a minute. What was Giannis?
Why am I waiting?
2 for 2?
Why am I waiting?
What was Giannis?
I don't know why I'm waiting.
What was Giannis?
The biggest moment of the biggest game of Kevin Durant's career.
See, I'm trying to be nice.
This season, sir, he was 0 for 6. Giannis was 2 for 2, but all it took was 4 points to win in overtime.
Yeah, he didn't know that when he was shooting only 4 points.
All it took was 4 points. We ignored it. We ignored Giannis's greatness. You're continuing to ignore Giannis's greatness, but I got an hour and 50 more minutes to convince you.
I want that convincing. By the time, 2 more hours, you said? Hour and 50?
Hour 50.
What button gonna be left on that shirt? You getting loose already, boy. By the end of the show, you're gonna be out here butt naked. Here's the thing. It's not the fact that he has baggage. Everyone has...
What is it, Sel?
Be real.
What is it?
I just had to drop my daughter off at the airport yesterday.
Is she gone?
Yeah, but she coming back for 1 week vacation, but it ain't the same. She gone. She unpacked the bag. She out the crib. Yay. She gone. Oh, damn. She going to grad school. And, you know, my daughter still is balling on a budget. She know daddy balling, but you on a budget. So that's life. So she's still, 2 carry-ons, that's it. Economy line, stand in front, curbside. Go ahead, baby, do what you do. You got to climb this mountain. They do have a limit before they start saying, you know what, we're going to have to start taxing your ass. They're going to start paying for those extra bags, right? Giannis doesn't just have 1 bag. He got too many damn bags, dog. And then some of them overweight. Here's the thing. 50 pounds is the limit. I learned that yesterday. Giannis is not just a bad outside the paint shooter, as we talked about before. Oh, my God, 28% from outside the paint, worst by a player averaging that many points in the finals since 2015. Well, LeBron did it. Why do I bring up LeBron?
I don't know.
Because we will talk about the greats in not so flattering terms. LeBron, that Cavs series that they lost to the Warriors 4 games to 2, LeBron didn't shoot well outside the paint. In part, he had to do so much. But then we talk about Giannis. It's not just 1 bag. Okay, outside the paint, he's pretty bad. What about the free throw line? Oh, he's shooting better. Better as in 66% from the finals, which is pretty bad. 4th worst among players to average 30 points in the final series since 1980. But now we got 2 bags. One of them look overweight. You 4th worst ever. Then we talk about his 3-point percentage. 4th worst ever. Dog, you can't keep talking about how great he is, and then I got 3 line items, 3 major categories where the guy is not out there performing to the same level. That's the problem. And that's what's on Phoenix right now. It's going to be on Monty Williams to go out there, force him to be in the positions where he's not so flattering. When you look at these things, I could push him out the paint, or I could get him to the free throw line, or I could just make him say, hey, you got to shoot 3-pointers. That's the thing. Giannis is right now hiding in plain sight. He's hiding under that rim. Get his ass out under that rim and see what happens.
But here's what I got to highlight, Sel, and I'm going to personalize it.
I hope so.
I'm very much so pigeon-toed. You probably see me walk down the hallways.
That's what that is?
Knees pointing in, my toes be pointing like that. People always used to clown me in college for being pigeon-toed. The way I walk, my hips pronate inwards, whatever. But then I would remind them, I still made it to the NFL. So while you can clown my shortcomings physically, I still overcame the shortcomings to arrive at the NFL.
Okay.
Giannis does have shortcomings. We can highlight all of those. All right. But he has still overcome all of those shortcomings to be a 2-time finals MVP. Okay. Now, it's simple. Just make Giannis shoot threes. Make him shoot free throws. Foul him. Keep him outside the paint. But somehow, he's still one of only 4 players in finals history since the merger to have 41, 13, and 6, along with the likes of Magic Johnson, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant. 2 all-time greats in Kevin Durant.
Oh, really?
So with all of that being said, Sel, we can look at the deficiencies. But why would you? Back-to-back 40-point games. We have not seen that since the likes of the Michael Jordans of the world, the Shaquille O'Neals of the world, averaging 30-point double-doubles. We didn't look at Shaq and say, he can't shoot threes. He can't handle the ball.
Oh, yes, we did.
No, he didn't.
You know why we didn't say he couldn't shoot threes?
Why?
Because he wasn't trying to shoot threes.
Giannis is only trying to shoot 9.
What do you mean only?
9.
Your butt is 7 feet damn near, and you shouldn't even try to shoot 9 if you're not Brook Lopez.
What is it? 4, 8, we played 3 games. 3 games. That's 4, 8, 12 quarters, and he shot 9 threes. Giannis ain't really trying to shoot no threes either. He's just out there, you know what I'm saying? Seeing what gonna happen. See what, you know, maybe it goes in, maybe it doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying.
I'm not gonna sit here and let you act like Giannis is not doing the same things Shaq, Bron, KD did.
Well, he's doing something Kobe did. I guess that makes you feel good, except this wasn't flattering for Kobe either. Giannis is the only other player to shoot this bad outside the paint since Kobe Bryant did it in 2004. So, yeah, you want to attach him to great players and great names? Go ahead. He's going to be attached to LeBron in 2015 when he couldn't shoot outside the paint, too much on his load. It's going to be Kobe Bryant 2004 when he tried to carry too much when he had that mega super team that was kind of compromised, old, and injured. This is the point. So is Giannis trying to do too much?
Doesn't matter. Let's be real. Let's be real.
Why do you think I'm not being real? Because I ain't unbuttoned?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to stop yelling. Can we calm down?
Okay, let's do that.
Why do we have to parse out what Giannis doesn't do well? Tom Brady does not run the ball very well at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
He does a phenomenal job QB sneaking. He doesn't run the ball incredibly well as a quarterback position. Aaron Rodgers can run it better. Mahomes can run it better. He's probably one of the worst mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But we don't sit there and say, man, Tom Brady can't run. Tom Brady's arm really isn't all that strong anymore. And it was never superiorly strong.
Okay.
His anticipation was great. His technique is great. His throwing motion is great. He gets the ball out, and he's incredibly great and incredibly cerebral. But we could look at any individual as an individual level or on a collective level and say what they don't do well. But as long as you get your numbers and you win, why are we still doing that? Barry Sanders, he was not going to run nobody over.
No,
Emmitt Smith, he probably wasn't going to shake you out your shoes. But Barry Sanders is an all-time great. Emmitt Smith is an all-time great. Everybody got a flaw, Sel. My question to you is, why sit here and focus on the flaw? He gave you 41, 13, and 6.
I got to tell you, because when you have shortcomings, and he has shortcomings, it's not just necessarily himself in these line items. It's the fact that his team has shortcomings. So think about this equation. When things go well, Tom Brady, we always say, wow, why did they go so well? And we inflate the positives. When things fall short, when things go wrong, and you're Peyton Manning for all those years, or you're Giannis in this situation, still hasn't won it all, what's going wrong? What are those shortcomings? It's just, we want to know, why did it go so well for you, Brady? And why isn't it going so well for you, Giannis, despite you individually contributing as much as you can? That's just a simple narrative conversation. Let's talk about you, Acho, since you want to personalize it, your pigeon-toe butt. Since you're pigeon-toe, you act like that, okay, you got back at all the haters for clowning you because you made it to the NFL. But the haters didn't necessarily follow you to the NFL, but that criticism did. And it materialized.
It did.
You couldn't cover the running backs, like you, right? Because them toes was inside, you had to go out. And you're like, what the hell happened to you?
You're not wrong.
Right?
You're not wrong.
Me and you talk, bro. I know how it goes. Look, I had shortcomings as well. I had a back curvature. If you ever see me walk, I could grab my wallet like this, my booty way up here. I know how I'm built. And I get to the combine, they like, and I'm like, why y'all staring at my x-ray and MRI so damn long? I'm thinking that. Then they finally come to me. They said, you ever go to the doctor for this curvature? It was like, it's pretty extreme. I was like, no. First injury I have, non-contact, first year starting, not even playing the game fully yet. You know what it was? Back surgery. Sometimes it just follows you, man. It's not even about what they're talking about. It's the fact that Giannis in this situation, some of the stuff is going to follow him, and it's going to show his ugly head at the wrong time.
So the issue then, and this is a nuanced conversation that I haven't seen yet, is that Giannis's shortcomings are keeping his team short of winning a chip. That is where you're drawing the line. Whereas Shaq's shortcoming, in theory, it didn't keep them short of winning the chip, but they did have Kobe. LeBron's shortcoming, in theory, it didn't keep them short of winning a chip. Kevin Durant, I guess his shortcomings didn't keep him short of winning a chip, although he had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
They all got somebody. All of them.
Is that the reason that you're not giving Giannis the credit he deserves and you're highlighting his shortcomings because his team is coming short thus far?
Well, yes, in part. I'm not giving him his full credit because it hasn't fully materialized into full success. So that's why. Now, here's another reason. Let's be real about this. If he does overcome his shortcomings, which means outside the paint, three-point line, free throw line, think about it. That game was a blowout, so we never got it to hack a Giannis or whatever that may look like. Imagine there's a closely contested game going forward, and they go into hack a Giannis, and he falls short. But he had 41 points, and then all of a sudden he can't make his free throws. We got a different conversation. Here's my only real issue with Giannis, because you're right. I'm over here digging in the weeds looking for criticism. But not this part. This one steps up. This one stands out. The Bucks are living off of crowd noise and comfort. Think about it as a team. Be real. If this was your team and you were Giannis, y'all Nigerian, you got something going. I ain't getting into no Stephen A stuff, so I'm going to stop there. So here's the thing. Y'all looking around, you and Giannis looking around, this is your team. You're like, why am I getting a different version of Drew Holiday? Shout out to Campbell Hall, LA's finest. Why am I getting a different version of Chris Middleton when I'm here versus when I'm gone in this series? And that's the problem. When you're the greatest version of yourself as a leader, you all of a sudden fill those voids for those guys. You make them feel comfortable when they're uncomfortable. You tell them, I will be the noise in your head, the crowd noise, not white noise. Somehow, some way, he hasn't fully activated his squad based off of his talents and his production. But I'm not slighting him. I told you, I'm going to get on the off-ramp. Here's 6 roses. The other half come after y'all win this series. Coming up is Dak Prescott, the 7th best quarterback in NFL. What happened to the other dance he does? We'll tell you if it's a recent survey that got it right. Look at Zeke in the back. I see you, boy. But first, Devin Booker was ice cold in Game 3. We'll tell you if the Suns should be concerned. Yes, they should. Let me just get that out right now. Next, don't speak for yourself.
Devin Booker came into Game 3 averaging over 27 points in the playoffs. But that all changed on Sunday because Booker had a playoff low 10 points and the Suns lost. He shot a disappointing 3 of 14 from the field and did not see any action in the fourth quarter during the blowout. Joined by NBA analyst Slick Rick Buka. But Marcellus, how concerned should the Suns be about Book's Game 3 struggles?
Oh, very concerned because we're starting to see a pattern in terms of his scoring or lack thereof. Let's just be real. It's more the efficiency, if anything, shooting 38%. That's not Devin Booker, but it's been Devin Booker of late. Even going back to that Clippers series, we didn't see the best shooting version of Devin Booker. So here we are again on the scale of criticism, on a scale of concern, 1 through 10. I would give this a 6, but climbing, the green arrow pointing up, unfortunately. I need to see Acho's face right now whenever I can get that beautiful blue suit, that Emmy-looking face. Don't Slick Rick up there while you're at it. I just want to ask Acho in front of all of us, how's your superstar doing right now? You know, you want to go out there and profess he's a superstar, and now I don't hear superstar status or superstar criticism. So it's 2 ways you can be a superstar, either because you're just balling out of control and you support it, or you just have to deal with hell. We know that you're a superstar because all that criticism only comes with all that praise. Neither one is happening with Devin Booker, which is interesting. But you know what is happening with him? Shooting the 3rd worst field goal percentage among scorers in the final series since 1980. So Giannis was 4th in terms of outside the paint scoring. But Devin Booker is just saying, let me have it all, no matter where I shoot from on the court. This is very concerning because I bring up the superstar status because he was that close. I even had trepidation and cause for concern and saying, is he a superstar? Is he not a superstar? I was like, I don't even know what my take is going to be. But I will give you this take because I got pulled over one time on the way home, Manhattan Beach, when I was living out there, super single. Ooh, I told you should have on the Strand. Oh, my God, I was winning. Anyway, CHP pulled me over 2 in the morning. Now, me, I ain't one of those people out there saying, I'm scared of the police. No, they pulled me over. Okay, what's up? And he's like, yeah, you speeding. I was like, yeah, I got to go to the bathroom. And I live like 2 blocks. So I'm trying to get there. And he's like, you know what's funny, Mr. Wiley? He's like, we pull over a lot of people who speed. And they're always giving us the same reason. And I was like, all right. I was like, well, so what's the point? And he's like, you know that when you get closest to your destination is when you relax the most? And I was like, oh. I would have paid him $500 instead of the speeding ticket just for that knowledge right there. How do I apply that to Devin Booker? Damn Damn, he's so close to this destination of being a superstar. And it seems like my brother is relaxing at the wrong time because he's nearing that. Anyone who plays golf, John Heller, our producer, told me about this one. This is real. Anyone who plays golf, you go out there in 1 month of playing golf, never played before, you'll drop your strokes 20, 30 strokes in the first month. Give yourself another year or two. You won't even drop 5 strokes. As you get closer to greatness, it gets more difficult, not easier. Hey, Devin Booker, holler at your boy, or the CHP, whoever you want. They're trying to tell you something. You're that close, but it's going to be that much more difficult.
Sarah, I liked everything you said. It was very wise. However, I myself am not worried. A strike only brings you one step closer to your next home run, Babe Ruth. Devin Booker, he just had a strike in Game 3, but let's not get it twisted. He's going to be close to that next home run, y'all, because players to miss 11 field goals, plus 6 threes, plus 2 free throws in the finals. If we can bring up the full screen, he's on a list of greatness, likes of Kobe Bryant, Steph Curry, Allen Iverson, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Klay Thompson, and 3 others. With all that being said, all of those greats had to go through a spell, a cold spell, because when you get hot, you do cool off every now and then.
Facts.
Slick Rick, you and I, we share our casino stories from time to time on this television set, if you will. And I know this much. I go through some cold spells at the blackjack table. Every now and then, you might turn over a 20, dealer will hit you with a 7-card 21. Oh, you'll be sick. You might double down on an 11, you'll draw an 8. 19 is pretty safe, Dealer will flip over a 10 and he got a 10 showing, you're sick. He just beat you with 20. But what I know is this. When you go through a cold spell, it will get hot. You just have to ride the wave and survive it. The Suns' Devin Booker is going through a cold spell, but he will get hot. I'm just riding a wave and waiting for him to survive it, as the Suns will as well.
I must not have been on the show when Acho labeled Devin Booker a superstar, because I would have given some serious pushback, and we would not have allowed that to happen.
Thank you, Slick.
I must not have been here. It could not have happened, because you guys know what my definition of a superstar is. A star is a guy who gets his numbers. A superstar is a guy who gets his numbers, and he gets numbers for others as well. And Devin Booker has not demonstrated that he can consistently do that. So for me, he has never warranted the superstar label at this point. I might call him a superstar scorer because he has demonstrated that he can score with the best of them. But to answer the question, the Suns should be very, very, very concerned about Devin Booker and the direction he's going. Because to Marcellus's point, it's not just that we are trending in the wrong direction in this series. We are trending in the wrong direction overall in the playoffs for Devin Booker. Can I have the full screen, please? My own full screen. Thank you very much. This is series by series by series. If you'll note, the numbers keep going down in the wrong direction with each series. And we are now at the bottom here with the Bucks in terms of both scoring average and percentage. And why should that be concerning for the Suns, other than the fact that their leading scorer is no longer their leading scorer at this point, or their best shooter is no longer their best shooter? It's the fact that they have not won a single playoff game without both Chris Paul and Devin Booker playing well together. And of the 19 playoff games that he's had, this is perhaps the most troubling aspect. Out of the 19 playoff games that Devin Booker has played, more than half he has shot less than 25% percentage-wise from three-point range. And as we know in this series in particular, that in these playoffs overall, that has been a huge element here. So this idea that this is just one bad game, because Acho, I liked your full screen too. I had a feeling you might be pulling that out and throwing those names out there. But those were all numbers of the number of shots that guys missed. And to your point about blackjack and being at the table, you also know this. When there's a cold spell, and when you know that the deck is not in your favor, the key is to lower your bet, to ride ride it when you're hot and when the deck is good, and to keep your bets low when you know that the deck is cold. We're not seeing that with Devin Booker. Devin Booker is still shooting the hell out of it. They're just not going in. He keeps raising his bet even though he's on a cold spell, and that is not working for him or the Suns.
I love y'all Vegas analogies because y'all know I'm not a gambling man. So here's another way y'all can deal with the blackjack dealer whooping y'all up. Just go to the club with me and just get up off the table. So that's how it goes, because why give them your money when you can give them your money and have fun too? Where's my full screen since I'm out here getting outnumbered with the full screens? I got something for you. Not a full screen, but maybe a baby Wileyism. He ain't fully grown, but he's a little Wileyism. Sometimes you can be in good company, but in a bad way. And I'm going to talk about Devin Booker being in good company in a bad way. Let's talk about this field goal percentage. We keep highlighting him shooting 38% in this game and 38% from the last series. You know, that puts him third worst all time. But look at this list. Goodness. LeBron James has the worst. Let's talk about how they resulted in those finals. They lost. Kobe Bryant is second. They lost. 2004. Devin Booker this year. Dirk, 06. They lost. 2015, LeBron. Damn, LeBron, you on this list twice? You lost again. So think about those situations for Devin Booker. If you're going to be the key guy for your team, you're putting them in bad situations in a bad way, even though those names are certainly good company. Let's talk about Devin Booker right now. As you said, he's trending in the wrong direction. You know that Devin Booker outscored CP3 in the regular season by 9+ points. And right now, CP3 is averaging 2 more points than Devin Booker in this series. They are switching roles. Now, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, because CP3 never been in the finals before, but is the veteran of the two. Maybe he's going to be the wedge buster, go out there and do things that Devin Booker maybe not mentally prepared to do just now. But Devin Booker shooting below 40% from the field goal percentage, 6 of his last 9 games, y'all. Come on, y'all. Booker has shot below 15% in 3 of his last 4 games, y'all. Come on now. Something's going on with your great superstar, Devin Booker. All I know is from my playing days, goodness is easier than greatness. And people will always go out there and say, oh, you can do this and do this and do this. But can you put it all together? And as Slick said, make it work well for others as well. So far, Devin Booker looks like it's coming up just that short in that conversation. Coming up, we'll tell you if Dak Prescott is ranked too high at number 7 in a recent survey of the top quarterbacks. Too high? Ooh, that's next on Speak for Yourself. We got the leaking pains, not growing pains, just leaking. Dak Prescott is the 7th best quarterback in the NFL, according to a recent survey of over 50 execs, coaches, and players. A veteran quarterback said Dak had, quote, high-level play when he led the league in passing yards before a season-ending injury in Week 5. Take a look at the top 10. No surprises with Patrick Mahomes leading the field, followed by Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Dak is number 7, right behind Matthew Stafford, and ahead of Lamar Jackson. So, Acho, is Dak Prescott ranked too high in the quarterback rankings?
Duh.
Oh, you doing that? You doing that?
Yes, and I'm going to play a game with you shortly, but let me contextualize this for you all. Must I remind y'all that since 2018, Mitch Trubisky has been statistically a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Now, you could just think I'm an asinine player for making a statement, but no, I'm just going to contextualize something for y'all.
Not on the list.
Mitch has a better winning percentage, and we have the full screen to throw up with y'all. Same number of Pro Bowl appearances and more playoff appearances. Now, digest it. Get rid of the full screen. I don't want it anymore.
You better get
I don't want it
rid of that.
anymore.
I'm going to beat it
Why
up.
do I bring that up?
Let me see.
Because Mitch Trubisky is currently a backup quarterback to the 5th player on this list.
He's a Dak up.
Exactly. And Dak is just 2 spots behind. Dak should be somewhere about 10 or 9 if you want to rank about what he's done or rank based upon projections. What? Now, here is a game that y'all can play too, because I don't just want to exclude y'all and play with Marcellus. At number 8 is Lamar Jackson. If Dak and Lamar were on the same team, who would start? Lamar Jackson. At number 10, I believe, is Kyler Murray. If Dak and Kyler were on the same team, who would start? Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, over who?
What you mean over who? You ain't seen Kyler Murray run?
Over who?
You ain't seen Kyler Murray run and not get hurt?
Over who?
If Dak Prescott,
not get hurt
if
one
Dak
time,
Prescott and
He's younger.
Justin Herbert were on the same team.
Oh, don't you do that.
who would start?
The Chargers.
Exactly,
Yes,
Justin Herbert.
yes, I
So
love that
even if you just want to play the game and put Dak Prescott on a roster with Mahomes starts. With Rodgers starts. Brady starts. Allen starts. Justin Herbert starts. Put him on a roster with anybody in the top 10, and they will all start over Dak Prescott. He is far too high. He's the 10th best quarterback in my best estimation and summation. 10 is still great. Let's not sleep on top 10, but 7's just too high, big dog.
7's too high?
Yes, sir.
First, let's just get that conversation out the way. So if you were 6, are you lower or higher? Too high? I can mess with you right now because 6 is a lower number than high. You're talking about he's higher. I don't know what you're saying, Acho, because I don't think you know what you're saying, Acho. Oh, my God. I think he's ranked properly. If that's a thing in sports media today, to actually say something that is just full of common sense. Like a guy who didn't play last year, who's still top 10 and is number 7 and is in a comfortable position. Now, look, you know I love me some Lamar Jackson. You know I love me some Justin Herbert. You know I love me some Kyler Murray. But at the same time, you got to respect equity. You got to respect a deeper resume than those guys. Now, Lamar Jackson is a different conversation. We'll have that conversation later in the show. But if you look at this ranking, I'm not going to be the one that argues against you because you want to slide him down. I thought you were going to go Ryan Tannehill. That's your guy. You try to slide. You try to go joke.
I didn't even have to.
You should have because he has
Why?
a better, deeper resume than Mr. Trubisky. Mr. Trubisky, oh, my God.
I was giving you context.
That wasn't
Mitch isn't
context.
better than Dak.
That was
I'm
extreme.
letting you, okay, extreme truth.
Okay, here's the greatest case for why Dak Prescott should be where he is, number 7. Because I see who's number 3, Tom Brady. And, God, he got 7 rings. That's amazing. But if you look at their passer ratings, which is accumulation of all of the statistics that we sit here with all these papers and notes trying to digest, you just want to sum it all up, kind of go to passer rating. It helps a lot. It's one of the better ones. Who has the same passer rating as Tom does terrific? Tom Brady at number 3. Dak Prescott. Does Mr. Trubisky have that? No, he does not. So let's just get Mr. Trubisky out of here. And Mr. Trubisky got himself out of there, so we don't even got to go there. Let's talk about Dak Prescott, who's never had a losing record when healthy as the Cowboys starter. Let's talk about Dak Prescott in games where last year, if he would have been able to finish, he would have been number 1 in scoring. But he wasn't. But he still was number 1 in scoring, even in the 4+ games that he was able to start. I am not going to go here and then all of a sudden try to slight Dak Prescott, who has a deeper resume than most of the guys that you're trying to now ascend above him. So I'm going to let somebody else do that. Got to bring in Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks, who I know is full of that ammo. So, Bucky, is Dak Prescott ranked too high in the quarterback rankings? Get out, yo.
Absolutely not. In fact, he should be a top 5 player if you look at this objectively. I don't know what Dak Prescott did to Acho. Maybe Acho was in the mall and wanted an autograph and he bypassed him in Dallas. I don't know. But I don't know why all this slander is going towards Dak Prescott. Yes. But when I look at it, and the fact that you even brought up Mitchell Trubisky, who is a beloved Tar Heel, but come on, Acho, what are we talking about? You're trying to say that Mitch Trubisky and Dak Prescott in the same conversation, but I guess what you're doing is you're using team stats. So when I look at that, all of those are team stats. But when I look at the individual stats, here's what I found on Mitch Trubisky. He barely averages over 200 passing yards per game. Passer rating, 87.2. They're winning in spite of Mitchell Trubisky, not because of Mitchell Trubisky. And since you said he's a backup, let's talk about the guy that he's backing up in Buffalo, Josh Allen, since you have a love affair with Josh Allen. Josh Allen had a great year last year, MVP caliber year. But when I dig deeper in the numbers, I just discovered that Josh Allen only passed for over 200+ yards per game last year. Prior to that, he was sub 200. I look at his passer rating, 90.4. That's well below Dak Prescott's 97.3, which ties in with Tom Brady. So by any measure, by any metric, Dak Prescott is a much better player. We look at these numbers that he's accumulated individually and as a team. He has been an outstanding quarterback who deserves his just due. He's a top 5 player. You need to treat him as such. Talk about him as you talk about one of the elite, because the other stuff that you're talking about doesn't make sense. He's an elite quarterback.
Somebody bring up the list, please.
You don't know?
Can I see the list?
Right here.
Please.
You need that in your life?
Bucky Brooks. You
Bring
said
it
he's
up.
a top 5.
Bring it up.
No, I don't want to see that list. I don't care about Mitch no more. I don't want to see Mitch no more. Let me see this list,
right there,
please.
Salute.
Bucky Brooks, is Dak Prescott better than Patrick Mahomes? Huh? You lost your mic now?
Oh, yeah,
Now
no.
you can't speak?
No.
Blah, 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 blah,
I
blah,
said
blah.
no.
Bad Wi-Fi
I
on that
said no.
question.
No, thank you. Bucky Brooks, if Dak Prescott and Aaron Rodgers were on a team, who would start?
Aaron Rodgers.
Bucky Brooks, if Dak Prescott and Tom Brady were on a team, who would start, sir?
Tom Brady.
Bucky Brooks, if Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson were on a team, who would start, sir?
Oh, don't do this.
I don't know.
Now you don't know.
Because I don't know. I don't know if Russell Wilson can cook based on what I saw in the second half of the season when teams played coverage. So I don't know if Russell Wilson. I don't know. We have to take that all the way through training camp.
We got it.
And if you're going to ask me about Super 5,
Sierra, man. Sierra.
Bucky, okay, if you don't know, let me tell you, Bucky Brooks.
Absolutely.
Russell Wilson has missed the playoffs one time in 10 years because we came into the league together. Dak Prescott has made the playoffs 2 times in 5 years. So if you don't know, now you know, okay?
Because of or in spite of?
Both. Because let's not act like Russell Wilson has had phenomenal defenses.
Mr. No MVP vote having but Dak got one before? Ooh.
A vote.
I don't give a darn what you say.
He hasn't been to a championship game since the Legion of Boom fell apart.
Okay, when's the last time Dak won?
3-6 in his last 9 playoff
When's the
games.
last time Dak here's the thing.
What are we saying?
If you all genuinely think that Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson, we can't even keep having this. We're speaking different languages. We're speaking different. I'm not going to speak in my native tongue.
I'm saying they're in the same conversation, Acho. They're in the same conversation. If we swap teams, if we swap the players on different teams,
I'm glad he went
not
there.
saying that Russell Wilson is going to be significantly
I'm glad he went
more
there.
impactful in Dallas.
I'm glad he went there.
Dak Prescott in Seattle.
Bucky, I'm so glad you went there. We don't have to swap teams, Bucky, because we saw the 2 teams play this past year. And it was week 3 that we saw both of these teams play. And the Seahawks won by a touchdown.
Barely.
Why? Exactly. But 25% of games are decided by how much? 4 points or less. 51% of games are decided by 7 points or less. It was a 7-point game. So, yes, it was barely, but the whole league is decided by barely.
Barely.
Now,
7%.
with that being said, Bucky, we saw both quarterbacks on the field. We saw one quarterback with 4 minutes left drive down the field and only get a field goal. Another quarterback, Russell Wilson, drive down the field and get a touchdown. We saw one quarterback have a pivotal turnover early in the game, Dak Prescott. We saw another quarterback find a way to win. We don't have to parse this out and really try to figure out what would happen. No. We saw it, Bucky, and Russell Wilson is better than Dak.
Russell Wilson got to go against the Dallas defense. You wish.
The Seahawks defense was worse than the Cowboys defense in the first 2 games.
What?
Don't we
you better look that up because they were historically bad.
The Seahawks defense was worse than the Cowboys defense the first 3 games.
I don't know about worse. They were
So
probably
with all that being said,
what?
we can NFL analyze if y'all want. We can opine if y'all want. But either way, we will result in Russell being better than Dak. Josh Allen, we know. Is better than we know, Bucky.
No, we don't. We don't know that. No. We don't know that. We know he had a better year. We don't know he's a better player. Absolutely not. I just sat here and read the stats. Prior to last year, Josh Allen had never averaged more than 200 passing yards per game. I know you like individual stats, so let's talk about that. He hadn't averaged more than 200 passing yards as a quarterback. You sit here and beat up Cam Newton for not being able to pass the ball. Josh Allen was basically a different version, a lighter complected version of Cam Newton. So if you don't like Cam, how can you like Josh? It's the same conversation that we're having. So what are we doing?
Bucky,
what are we talking about?
Bucky,
yes.
Cam Newton, Josh Allen had 4,900 total yards last year. Even in Cam Newton's MVP season, he ain't see those numbers, Bucky. Brooks, don't do this.
Before. It's a complete body of work. If we're talking about the top 5 quarterbacks of 2020, we're talking about top 5 now. The entire career has to be factored in.
The point, I understand what we're doing. Acho's trying to negate your point of he's top 5. However, by trying to negate that point, you may be taking some other guys out of the top 5 and may have to insert Dak Prescott. You saying Josh Allen had 4,900. yards last year. Dak was on pace to having 5,900. Now, it's just the pace.
I don't want to hear about pace, Sal.
So if we're not going to hear about pace, we don't want to necessarily hear about just 1 year. We want to hear about total body of work. Because if we're just going to go just 1 year, then it's going to be a different conversation in terms of the greats. Here's my only point. Because Dak was on pace to doing some crazy stuff. And even before that, he had 4,900 yards in the year before injury. So don't act like Dak can't do it. So let's stop there. Here's the thing. Only thing I noticed on this list, not trying to move Dak out of it, move Dak up and down, was that, damn, it's a gap between number 1, 2, and 3, and then number 4, number 5, number 6. It gets weird. Number 1 has been in 3 straight AFC championship games. Patrick Mahomes. Number 2 just won an MVP, and Aaron Rodgers. Number 3 got 7 damn rings. And then you start skipping, and you blink, and now we're having conversations about Russell Wilson, who is 3-6 in his last 9 playoff games, who can't win without the leech and the boom, who can't cook. Then we start talking about guys who just had 1 great year. Then we just start talking about guys who have never won a playoff game. Matthew Stafford never won a playoff game, and literally is in this conversation. Dak Prescott has 10 more wins than Matthew Stafford, including last season, and Dak missed 11 games. Boy, this list is weird. And y'all crazy for trying to follow this list. But go ahead, Doc. You got something to say, Otto?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead and try to make some sense out of that.
If you want to look at body of work, Bucky, and if you want to ignore the recent, then Ben Roethlisberger needs to be a top 5 quarterback as well.
Then we ain't
if
talking
you
about
want to
dead
sit
body.
here, Bucky, and look at body of work.
You want to see a dead body?
We have to look at what is going on right here, right now, present day. I'll give y'all the last 12 months. I'll give y'all the last 24 months. But, Bucky, I don't want to hear about what Dak did back in 2016 when Dez Bryant and Cole Beasley and Jason Witten was on the team before Jason went to the booth, came back out of the booth, and now played for the Raiders. I don't want to hear about
Josh Allen wouldn't be on the list if you're giving us 24 months. You know that, right?
Then let's look.
So then Bucky's right.
Talk these 12. Can we talk 12?
You said 24. Why we got to talk 12? You just said 24.
Even if you look at 24, Josh Allen is still as good as Dak, if not better.
Oh, no.
Oh, give me our camera. YouTube, frame that.
Bucky.
Don't put me in there.
Josh, look.
I cover my mouth.
Bucky.
I'm trying not to swear. I'm trying not to swear on
Bucky.
TV.
Joe be fighting.
Josh Allen's last year, can we agree, was better than Dak Prescott's 2019?
Yeah.
Fair?
Yes.
It was a nice year.
Josh Allen's last year was better than Bucky's, better than Dak's 2019.
Even though the Cowboys had the number 1 total offense.
But Josh Allen was the MVP runner-up last year.
No, I give you that. I said yes. I said yes.
Fair. We agree on that.
Jackson Flowers.
Dak Prescott's 2020 season ended after 4 games. Therefore, Josh Allen's 2019 season would trump Dak Prescott's 2020 season. So it sounds asinine when y'all like, how y'all gonna do all that?
Wait a minute.
The last 24 months, Josh Allen is still better than Dak. He beat him in both years. His 2020 is better than Dak's 2019, and Dak in 2020 got hurt.
Oh, wait. So I'm supposed to believe that in a 2019 where Josh Allen was only averaging 193 passing yards per game with a passer rating of 85.3, which was up from that 67.9 that he had as a rookie. That's a better year than what Dak Prescott put up. That's what I'm supposed to believe.
That is
when
Joe, don't do that. I love you too much.
All of the fire that you've given Cam Newton, and we're talking about that season being better than what Dak Prescott put up.
Then Dak Prescott put up what year? In 2020, Dak Prescott played 4 games. Afterwards, he was hurt. He could no longer play. As a result, his team went 6-10 and missed the playoffs. Even in the midst of Josh Allen's 2019, where he put up atrocious numbers compared to his 2020, he was still present and his team made the playoffs. Yes, Josh Allen's 2019 is greater than a 4-game sample size of Dak Prescott's 2020.
Hey, Bucky, don't let him calendar shift like that, because that's what he's doing. He's calendar shifting. Because in 2019, when Dak was putting up 4,900 yards, and we didn't see the average of 200 yards per game, but Josh Allen, he wouldn't even been top 30. He would have been lower than 30. Been like, you know how they always put of qualified passers, because they be trying to put other dudes in there who don't really qualify? Yeah, he would have been so low. And then, so Dak is way up here. And then you have an MVP caliber season, you would go here. And Dak, because of injury, but on pace, 371 passing yards per game, 5,900 passing yards per game, but injury drops you to here. But no way would you drop under him. How would you drop under him?
This isn't even this literally is no debate. This is not,
I know,
this is not subjective.
You lost.
This is objective. The last 2 years, Dak Prescott has passed for 6,700 yards. Josh Allen has passed for 7,700. The last 2 years, Dak Prescott has 39 passing touchdowns. Josh Allen has 57 passing touchdowns. The last 2 years, Dak Prescott has 15 interceptions. Josh Allen has 19 interceptions. It's not even a debate.
Yes.
Josh Allen has been better the last 2 years.
It's not a debate.
No.
What you're doing is you're using the aggregates and not using them at individual times when they occur. That's like saying, okay, you know what, Peyton Manning, you had 55 touchdowns one year. The next year you come back and you got 20. Now, who in the hell is going to beat that? You're trying to say a guy who comes out here like Dak Prescott who has a better 2019, correct?
Then Josh Allen's 2019, yes, sir.
And then in 2020, he only had a better one because Dak couldn't finish the race.
That matters.
Yes,
that matters.
It doesn't matter to the point where we're going to drop him so low. We're going to give him still some credit for having a historical pace after 5 games. That's why I don't think you're factoring it.
Acho giving credit for my man showing up to take the SAT. You just gave Josh Allen 400 points for putting his name on the SAT just because he showed up and finished the season. Like, come on, let's be better. Let's at least evaluate him
that's
if he
the problem.
Questions, right?
When you have an insane year and then you have a subpar year, you don't give him greatness. You say above average. That's all we're trying to say. Coming up, Team USA, Acho Hot, has dropped their first 2 exhibition games. Good fight. We'll tell you if it's a big deal or not. I don't know if we won. Next on Speak for Yourself. Team USA was upset by Australia Monday in an exhibition game in preparation for the Olympics in Tokyo. They are now 0-2 after losing to Nigeria over the weekend. Team USA was previously a dominant 54-2 in exhibition games before their losses in the last couple of days. Slick Rick is back, but Acho, are Team USA struggles a big deal or no deal?
Team USA struggles are a huge deal, but I got to call us out for a second. Again, y'all know your boy. You know your boy got dual citizenship. I got a blue passport. I got a green passport. I got to call out us being America. Let me talk to my blue passport people real quick. Because if we're being real, we always think, Americans, that we are the greatest thing since sliced bread at the point of foregoing other achievements and other accomplishments elsewhere in the world. If you never venture to other cities, you don't understand that the architecture is just as beautiful, if not more beautiful. The people are just as beautiful, if not more beautiful. There is talent elsewhere in the world. As a result, we turned a blind eye to it. I have to call us on it. Top 5 players in the league this past year, at least the top 6, if you will, when it comes to MVP voting. 4 of the 6 were foreigners. 5 All-NBA first-team players. 3 of the 5 were foreigners. So what it tells me is that there's a lot of talent elsewhere in the world, and it's starting to ascend to high heights. I'll speak to the USA losing to Nigeria a few days ago. 4 of the Nigeria's 5 starters play in the NBA. Bam Adebayo could have been on the Nigerian team, and he's playing for the American team, playing for the USA team. So with all that being said, yes, it's a big deal because finally we're having to reckon with the fact that there is talent elsewhere in the world. Now, the likes of the American basketball team should still be more talented, but I'm not going to turn an eye to the talent that clearly exists, not only in the NBA, but it exists in other countries as well. And now they've taken it to us. And by us, I'm talking to the blue passports.
Extremely well said, Acho. It's only a big deal if you don't understand why it's happening. And for me, it's no big deal because I do. You said that it's starting to rise. It's been rising. I mean, look, if you look at the 2019 World Cup, we finished 7th. 2016, we won 2 games by 3 points on our way to winning gold. Yes, we've won gold 2008, 2012, 2016, and the expectation is the Team USA will win gold again. But the very fact that we've been talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is, he's Nigerian, and he may just be the best player in the NBA. That might just be a reflection of how much times have changed since the day of Magic and Bird and when the Dream Team came in and originally gave us this idea that it is somehow the U.S.'s birthright, that we just cobble together our all-stars and we throw them out there and we're going to steamroll everybody. That hasn't happened for the last couple of decades. So we really need to reset what our expectations are in how we play in the international competition. And there's several things that are working against us and things that need to be figured out with this team. Number one, there's no carryover from the 2019 World Cup team to this Olympic team. It's a completely different roster. Two, the strength of this team is isolation players who can go get theirs. Isolation play in international competition when there's no defensive 3 seconds and the three-point line is closer to the basket doesn't work quite as well. Do we have the IQ and the talent to ultimately end up on top? Yeah, and the odds makers say that the Team USA is still favored to win gold. But this idea that we're never supposed to lose or it's never supposed to be close, that's an idea from like 30 years ago. You need to update your approach and your view of where Team USA is on a global scale when it comes to basketball.
Man, I didn't know I was going to get into this. Wow, we're going deeper. Y'all going global with this. It sounds like we having more than just a USA basketball conversation. I'm hearing about passports and America and our cockiness. Well, I'm cocky and I'm American, so guess what? Everybody should think they're the best, even if you're not. And if you don't mean I got to stop thinking it, especially when the records support what my cockiness is leading me to. And America should be cocky because let's talk about our record in exhibition games. And don't forget, this was an exhibition game. Now it's 54-4. Oh, my God. So everyone's saying this is an American problem. We think we just have a monopoly on talent. Boy, stop. No, we just know we whip butt when we get together and play in the international game. Now, it's an international game. Different rules, different points of emphasis, etc. It's going to take time. And as you said, Slick Rick, there is no carryover. So it's going to take these guys even more time. But I need to see my brother from Nigeria up here.
Talk to
along
your boy.
with me, my 23andMe. My 23andMe said I'm 61% you, Acho. So let's talk about my 61%.
Let's talk about it.
Y'all acting like America's cocky. I just think that they just knew that Nigeria was sorry. And then, whoa, they hit 23 pointers and realized they ain't as sorry as we expected. Now, is that a cockiness problem? Because it happens within our borders all the time.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's not an American versus others problem. It's just a human psyche issue. When you beat a team in 2012 in the Olympics by 83 points, which is a national team record, that's Nigeria, then you see them again in 2016, you say, oh, I know they got better. Yeah, they did. You only beat them by 36. And then now you see them this year in 2021, another exhibition, which we all know in exhibition games, especially when you talk about the most talented, not necessarily fully motivated. We're learning, coach, on the fly is the conversation. We lose by 3. 3! And they shoot 23 pointers. And you know why they made all those 3-pointers? Because we weren't fully motivated to close out on those 3-pointers as well. Don't go. I'm talking about
it's time to fight.
No. So all I'm saying is y'all can get into your diplomatic issues with America, but don't y'all damn try to convert those and conflate them into these international basketball issues. Because last time I checked, we smack teams when we see them.
Then I need you to check again. Sal, it is a issue that we have in our society. I'm going to talk track and I'm going to pivot. I'm going to talk track because I know you'll agree with me here because you have prior. Slick, at least at this point in time, you know the name Sha'Carri Richardson. We've talked about her extensively on this show. The majority of people, whether it be Nelly, Gabrielle Union, the likes of Michelle Obama, all these different celebrities tweeting at Sha'Carri Richardson talking about, you gonna go bring home the gold. But me and Marcellus both know, because we actually look at the global totality of track and field, that Sha'Carri's like the 3rd or 4th best sprinter in the world. Now, to Americans, we all think she the best thing since sliced bread. But if you really look at the numbers elsewhere in the world, you realize, dang, she really not the best. But we talking like she is. Man, Sha'Carri not gonna win a gold medal anymore since she not going to the Olympics. She probably wasn't anyway. Why do I bring up that parallel? Because it's the same mentality, Sal. I'm not going to let us take away from what the Australian team did or the Nigerian team did and put it on America's laziness. Maybe Nigeria and Australia just got some talent and it's about that action. Now, are their aggregation of players better than Kevin Durant individually? No. But in the same breath, the construction of America's basketball team is problematic and egotistical. We have 6.
What?
I'll explain it to you. We got 6 of the top 14 scorers in the NBA. 6 of the top 14 scorers. But we only have 2 players that land amongst the top 20 as it pertains to assists. So when we looked to construct the roster, we said, ooh, Zach LaVine, let's get him. Ooh, Dame Lillard, yeah, he scores a lot, let's get him. Ooh, Kevin Durant, yeah, he scores a lot, let's get him. Ooh, Jason Tatum, he scores a lot, let's get him. Ooh, Devin Booker, he scores a lot, let's get him. Then we said, oh, we need somebody to pass the ball. Dang, we ain't got nobody. Draymond Green is the leading assist man on the United States basketball team. The fate of America's Olympic dreams literally lies in the hands of Draymond Green dishing the basketball. So, yes, not only is there more talent elsewhere, but we are so prideful that we're going to allow this other talent elsewhere to thrive in our face.
Well, again, well said. And let me try to find the middle ground here between what Marcellus is saying and what you are. I mean, that is, yes, should we be confident? Should we be arrogant? Should we look at our record and say, hey, we are the best, or we should be? Without question, Team USA has earned that right.
We having audio issues over there because no way in America you're going to be able to slander my country like that and continue to talk like that. So I told you better watch your audio as well. Here's the thing. Man, we were up on Australia by 10 points in the second half and gave up the lead. Y'all stop with this. Like, these dudes are out there measuring themselves, and we don't have the tip-top players. Yeah, Kevin Durant's out there, but you know how many guys are not volunteering to go to the Olympics this year, starting with a LeBron James? Because of obvious reasons, man. So that doesn't sound like a cocky issue. It sounds like our best players are like, nah, we good. Why is that a cocky issue? Let somebody else who hasn't been through the Olympic schedule and been through the Olympic Games get their gold medals. But that's a cocky issue? Acho, we can't judge our country by the ignorant. And I'm not calling these people ignorant, Michelle Obama and others who you said tweeted Shaqiri. All I'm saying is, in track, you ain't the smartest. Y'all didn't know what you were talking about. You just were rooting because, hey, I liked her energy, I liked her hair, I liked her nails, I liked her swag. That doesn't mean you know track. So I'm not going to use that as an America soundboard. That's just some people who don't know what they're talking about.
But are we doing the same thing here, Sal?
Huh? No.
Are we doing the same thing with basketball?
Greg Popovich is 51-1 in exhibition games. Now you're going to say we cocky? No, we just that damn good.
I'm talking about the totality of it. So the fact that we're like, how we lose to Nigeria? They don't. You got analysts saying
we beat them by,
they ain't even got food. How we lose to Nigeria?
If you lose to a team that you beat by 83 2 times ago, and then you beat them ago. Hold on, but that's the only time we see them. So we saw you 2 times ago. We beat you by 83. We saw you last time. We beat you by 36. You think I am? First of all, you can't lie to your subconscious, and you know this in pro sports as an athlete. If you're playing the sorriest team in the NFL, I don't care what your coach says pregame. I don't care what you have for breakfast. Part of you is saying, we got this. And then when you realize you ain't got this, sometimes it's too late. It's okay. We're now 54-4 since 1992 in exhibition games. And y'all calling this a cocky issue? If you look good, bro, I'm not mad if you tell me first. Why is that a cocky issue? You're going to wait for me to say you look good, and then you're going to say, oh, I'm being humble?
Yeah, I think
fake.
We have to identify cocky and arrogant, right? I think it's a cocky or arrogant. We can change the word if we'd like. I think it's an arrogant issue if you think that you are so good that you also neglect the talent of your opponent. That, I think, is where we run into issues in our society.
We lost by 3.
Because you neglect
by jogging.
28. We were 28-point favorites. Yeah. So to lose by 3, you're talking about a 31-point difference, at least in what odds makers created, which means a couple things. One, we slept on the ability of their team initially.
As we should.
But no.
Athletes mail it in all the time on sleeping on somebody. Why is it an American issue when we do it to each other?
Because we're doing it to each other in our country.
Well, we can't do that to another country and we do it to ourselves?
No, I'm saying, we're saying the same thing.
No, we're not.
Because you're saying we do it to
I'm saying it's a human problem across the world and no borders. And you're saying, no, American, when we export ourselves, we get too cocky.
Because I'm saying we're showing it. At least I'll talk about the sport. I'll talk about the sports that I have watched as of recent. We don't see football take it on a global stage. Not yet, hopefully in the near future. Track and field I will speak on. After
Let's go.
Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, the top sprinter in the world the last 8 years, after she ran a 10:63, the second fastest time ever to FloJo, after she runs that, an American sprinter who will remain nameless, y'all can do deductive reasoning, an American sprinter came out and herself said, man, my presence in the game is making everybody better. So you are going to take credit, American sprinter, for what the fastest woman in the last 10 years is doing in Jamaica. Meanwhile, I haven't heard of the Jamaican sprinter say everything. I hadn't heard the British sprinter who's better say anything. I hadn't heard the other Jamaican sprinter who's better say anything. I haven't heard the Nigerian sprinter who ran a 10:64 wind illegal say anything. But I have heard the American sprinter take credit for the second fastest time being run by a Jamaican sprinter. So as I look at that, that's incubated, isolated, one issue by one person representing one country, America. Now I'm looking at, America, another aggregation of players representing one country, just lost to a team they were favored by 28 points.
Yeah, we shouldn't have lost to.
So either they shouldn't have been favored that much, or they took that too confidently. Again, all I'm doing is assessing the sports that I'm looking at from domestic to international. That is how I have arrived at my conclusion. Does it occur domestically? Absolutely. Because we're seeing it occur domestically. But I'm just saying, I haven't seen the international arrogance in track and field this season. And I watch a lot, and I haven't seen the international arrogance thus far in the Olympic stage. It's an incredibly limited sample size. But I haven't seen it thus far. That's all I'm saying.
I just think that it's an international issue to mail it in. And that's just how the game goes. And I wouldn't give a megaphone to ignorance or when people say something that's ignorant because you have home field advantage. Do you listen to the speak for yourself version in Jamaica? No, you don't. But I'm sure they got one. And I'm sure they over there talking big boy talk about track and field because they are the big dogs when it comes to the sprints. So we don't know what they're saying.
But
and
we do.
No, don't act like Twitter shows you everything. Don't act like that algorithm is all in your favor.
Because you do too. You monitor what Shelly-Ann got going on, what D. Nash Smith got going on. Okay,
if it hits me, I ain't looking for it.
I monitor what international athletes are saying, at least in the sport of track and field.
Not all of it.
And the arrogance displayed by our best, and let's talk about the best. The arrogance displayed by our best is not even near what their best
Well, let
is.
me button this up so we don't see.
I ain't got no buttons on this joint, so you need a button.
All I know is I don't give a damn how talented you are. You can't outwork somebody else's hustle muscle. And you know the hustle muscle. Nigeria came out with the hustle muscle. Australia came out in the hustle muscle. America was like, this is an exhibition. We are learning through process to become who we want to be during game situations. Basically, Australia and Nigeria did what we didn't want to do, which is get down and dirty too early. And if that's a cocky issue, well, then sign me up for that all the time. Because when it doesn't count, I'm not giving you my all because I'm trying to work it up here for when it all matters. Coming up, ain't nothing wrong with that, America. Giannis has put himself in elite company in the postseason. I'll tell you what he's proven so far in the finals. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Back to Nigeria.
Let's head to Milwaukee. Giannis dominated in Game 3 Sunday, leading his Bucks to a much-needed win. He scored 41 points and is now second player with at least 40 and 10 in back-to-back finals games, joining Shaq back in 2000. Slick Rick back with us. Hopefully, Wi-Fi's fixed. Slick, what has Giannis proven in the finals so far, big dog?
Nice to America. Wi-Fi problem.
He's proved that he is ready to own and embrace his greatness for the first time. Now, that might sound a little touchy-feely, but let me explain. Bottom line is he's already demonstrated that he can lead this team in scoring. He's demonstrated that he can lead it in rebounding. He can lead it as a defensive player. But that doesn't make you a leader. And what I have seen in this series in particular, and more so in this series than I have in any of the previous ones, is that he is ready to lead by example and by voice. We've seen him now in the huddle. And I asked you guys off camera because I was curious from a player standpoint. Sometimes guys do this for the camera. Sometimes they want to be perceived as a leader. And sometimes guys do it because it needs to be done and they're stepping into the role. He's demonstrated that he's willing to hold his teammates accountable. He's demonstrated that he will ask for the ball in need situations. He's demonstrated that he will get to the free throw line regardless of how well or poorly he's shooting them and say, I'm going to get them in foul trouble. I want to go to the free throw line. I am going to take my shot. He's demonstrated that he will take the mid-range shot when it's available. He is leading this team as a leader, not just in statistics. And that is the difference that I am seeing, and I have been waiting to see. I saw glimpses of it during the regular season, which is why he was at the top of my MVP ballot this year for the first time. It's also why, in spite of all the numbers and Milwaukee's record, he was not my MVP the previous 2 years. Because it's not a matter of the numbers that you get. It's when and how you get them. And what he is doing in this series is getting them at the most important times and in the most important ways.
Slick, I co-sign everything that you said. And I started off this show by saying Giannis has proven everything. He's proven that he's in the conversation for the greatest player in the world. He's proven that he is clutch. He's proven that he can carry his team. I remind everyone, Giannis hyperextended his knee in the most gruesome of ways just 2 weeks ago and has come back and dominated in the manner of Shaquille O'Neal. Slick, you didn't catch the first time we had this conversation. For those viewers that may have missed it, I will reiterate. I compare Giannis to the Google phone and all the other star players to an iPhone. When you talk about a Google phone, you say, wait, Google makes cell phones? Yes, actually. Industry-leading cameras, excellent image quality any time of day, and actually a more efficient battery quality than the iPhone. However, because we're all used to the sleek shape of the iPhone and the way that the iPhone adapts with the iPod and the iPads and the MacBooks, we just are more comfortable with that. We're more comfortable with the turnaround fadeaway. We're more impressed by it at a minimum. We're more impressed by a step-back three-point shot, not realizing that 2 points is 2 points and an and one is the equivalent to a three-pointer if you make the free throw. That is what Giannis gives us. So while Giannis is not lesser talented than some of the all-stars and superstars, we appreciate him less than some of the all-stars and superstars because we don't gravitate towards the look of Giannis' scoring as opposed to the look of other superstars scoring.
Interesting. I'm going to push back a little bit on what you guys are saying because, look, Giannis deserves his flowers, but not the entire bouquet. Okay, not all dozen. Just give him 6. Because we got to remember that Giannis returning from injury, admirable in terms of what he's been able to do and produce. But his production was in 2 losses and then 1 blowout win. So let's look at what that really means. And I'm just going to say this in story form from one of the greatest orators of all time. And I like to call a friend, just because I see him all the time, even though we're not friends, Jay-Z. So let's talk about what Jay-Z said about friends and friendships. He said, you can't really tell who your friends are when you're both down in life, when you're both down on your luck. He also said you can't really tell because when one of you is up and one of you's down, because there's still going to be that tug of war of need. The one on the down needs the one on the up. He said you can tell who your real friends are when you both are up, when you both don't need each other. Ain't nothing you can call me about and you need it. Guess what? I could say the same about you. Why do I bring that up right now? Because we've always looked at Giannis as kind of like this up and down. Like he would get his, but they wouldn't get theirs, right? And now we see 1 game out of 3 where they're both up. He got his and the team got theirs. But what's going to happen when Giannis gets into one of those Shaq games before when Shaq couldn't hit his free throws, as Giannis can't hit his free throws, but he hit 66% from the series. What happens in one of those games when finally Monty Williams gets him into those inopportune spaces on the court, outside the paint, three-point line to say, hey, the great wall of Giannis has been built again. What you gonna do, big dog? So all I'm looking at this as is when is Giannis gonna show us that his limits and what is limiting him won't limit them? And we don't know that answer just yet because that was a blowout game. Devin Booker didn't even play in the 4th quarter. When it's highly contested and the great wall is built, and we say you must shoot a 3, or more importantly, you must go to the free throw line. Hack Giannis. That's when we're going to know if both of them are up. Until then, Jay-Z's right. I don't know about you, Giannis, if you're really the Bucks' best friend.
Celis, it's a fair critique in terms of that he still has more to show. But yeah. I want to give the video of what I was talking about the intangibles of what Giannis is demonstrating as a leader. This is, Drew, I know you're the point guard. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. I've got the matchup. I got Mikal Bridges. How many times had you seen him previously do that? We've never seen him. Or in the huddle, demonstrating that, hey, look, I need more from you guys. And perhaps most important, going back to the bubble, this always stuck with me, that George Hill was the one who spoke up for the team, and yet you had the two-time MVP who was standing by the side. Now, there's some cultural things, cultural reasons you might do that, but the fact of the matter is, Giannis Antetokounmpo was the best player on that team, and yet he was not the spokesman in that particular situation. I see a different Giannis now. And if the only time he had given us these spectacular numbers was in Game 3, and that coincided with the win, I would give you that. But what I'm seeing is the difference between Games 1 and 2 and 3 is the fact that Giannis has given you everything you needed in clutch situations. He's given you the offensive numbers. He's imposed his will offensively. And what was lacking was the defensive effort from the rest of the team. Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton didn't really join the party in Game 3. They obviously weren't good enough in Game 2. But the difference was that they carried the load defensively, and that was enough to get it done. I'm seeing Giannis in a different role, and in that leading role, if everybody else does their complementary job, it's good enough for the Bucks to get this done. And that's a different constellation than we've seen in the past.
Okay, well, you said the word everything, so I'm going to go figuratively and speak as coaches would. You got to make your left-hand layups as well. That means your weaknesses can't be limiting. So when I see Giannis go out there and make his left-hand layups, outside the paint, three-pointers, he's taking them, and free throws. Once he makes his left-hand layups, and not only does he get his, but they get theirs, then I'll join the caravan.
No.
Giannis is everything.
Until
then,
all he has to do is win. He has to win. It's not how he does it.
Out tonight for MLB's All-Star Game. Hey, they told me to cut you off, dog. I'm sorry. We're breaking down the top stories from the first half of the season. AJ Pierzynski. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Sorry. Tonight, Judge Tatis, Ohtani, and baseball's finest face off in a mile-high midsummer slugfest from Coors Field in Denver. It's the 2021 MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard. Tonight, 7 Eastern on Fox. And for more on tonight's Midsummer Classic, let's welcome in a former two-time All-Star and Fox MLB analyst AJ Pierzynski. AJ! Yo, my man. I played in 1 Pro Bowl, actually voted to 3, no humble brag, I'm just being real. So you got me beat with your 2 All-Star nods, but tell me, what's the best part about playing in the All-Star Game?
Well, seeing the guys. There's no doubt about it. Listen, seeing the guys. Listen, I got to play with Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez. I mean, you pretty much name a star, I got to play with them or against them in an All-Star Game, so that's the best part. I mean, seeing these guys, being teammates of these guys, and just for one day saying, hey, I was the best of the best. And I'm sure you felt the same way in a Pro Bowl. I'm just mad I didn't get a hit. I would have liked to have gotten a hit and gotten the ball like everybody does. But I had some long fly balls, if those count.
That does count, man. Well, let's stay right here in Southern California where everything counts to me. This is my home. And I got a chance to check out Angel superstar Shohei Ohtani a few times this year. And he'll bat leadoff and is the starting pitcher for the American League in tonight's All-Star Game. Man, try and put in words what we're witnessing right now with how amazing Ohtani is.
Well, since Babe Ruth's season, pitching and hitting I've ever seen. I didn't see Babe Ruth, although some people say I did play against Babe Ruth. But the fact that you have a guy leading the league in home runs and starting the All-Star Game as a pitcher, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen on a baseball field as far as pitching and hitting. I don't know if we'll ever see anybody like it, but I'm sure happy that I get to witness it because every time he takes the mound, I have to watch. And last night's Home Run Derby was must-see TV for me. Even though he didn't advance, he still stole the show with how tired he was and how much he looked like he was enjoying it. It's the greatest thing going right now.
The greatest thing you've ever seen on a baseball field. That is a powerful statement. I love it. Okay, let's move over to the National League side because Padres superstar Fernando Tatis will lead off tonight for the NL at 22. He's the youngest Padre to start an All-Star Game. AJ, is Tatis Jr. already the face of baseball?
Yes. And that guy's unbelievable. I did a Padres game a couple weeks ago. I couldn't take my eyes off the kid. Everywhere you look, you want to see Fernando Tatis Jr. His electricity, his energy is unmistakable. He's the best thing going in baseball as far as a position player. Now, Ohtani's a position player and a hitter. But Fernando Tatis, from a position player standpoint, is the face of baseball, and he should be. Have you guys seen how much fun this guy has every time he takes the field? When he hits a home run, the place goes crazy. That's what baseball needs. We need more personality. We need more fun. Does he make mistakes? Sure. But when he makes those plays you guys are showing, it is incredible, and baseball needs more of it.
I agree with you there. Young OBJ, as I would say. Well, let's stay in the NL West, where the Dodgers are 2 games back in the division. As one of your former teams, the Giants, surprisingly, own the best record in baseball. So are your Giants legit contenders to dethrone the Dodgers? And you know they've won 8 straight division titles.
My Giants? I don't think you ask any San Francisco people out there.
Oh, they froze you too. Silicon Valley.
Listen, man. The Giants are for real, y'all. They can pitch, okay? The Giants can pitch, and they get clutch hitting. And Brandon Crawford's having an incredible year. Buster Posey, comeback year. But they're for real. Can they dethrone the Dodgers? I think the Dodgers' depth will win out. But the Giants will be a playoff team. Good for them, good for the Bay Area, and good for Gabe Kapler for the comeback as a manager.
Okay, we have some Wi-Fi issues going on. Slick Rick up in the Bay. Is he back? Are we good? Okay, well, the American League, we're going to try and get into this one more time. American League has dominated the All-Star Game, winning 7 straight. I don't know where he is. Hopefully he's going to show up because we ain't going to talk baseball that long. And 19 of 23 overall. Can you give us a prediction, AJ, somewhere out there? No?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Got you. Yes, we need that prediction.
Yes, American League. AL. I'm an AL guy. AL. AL always wins. AL.
Okay, you should
Y'all
be
can hear me. The AL.
All I'm waiting for is that dialogue. We're gonna have to let you go, AJ. I'm sorry. We know you're in the car, Yukon, Denali, something, but no Wi-Fi. Need to escalate next time. But thanks for joining us, AJ. Speaking of tonight's All-Star Game, David Ortiz is putting his money on the line on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. Free to play, so download the app and answer 6 questions about tonight's MLB All-Star Game for your chance to win $10,000 of Big Papi's money. Hey, Big Papi, hook AJ up with some of that money. Get that Wi-Fi fix. Coming up, Lamar Jackson is playing football with fans on asphalt. I'll tell you if it's fair to criticize him over this. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Back in studio, good Wi-Fi.
Lamar Jackson was seen recently playing defensive back and catching a pass against a teenage fan, but the video has been under scrutiny since Lamar was playing on a basketball court on asphalt. And he's eligible for a huge long-term contract from the Ravens. Pro Football Talk called out Lamar writing. This isn't hard, and it shouldn't be controversial. No player closing in on $40 million or so per year should be taking these risks just for kicks. Setting aside the question of whether the Ravens would declare any mishap a non-football injury and not pay for his 2021 salary. The bigger issue here comes from the fact that his contract still isn't finalized. Okay, Pro Football Talk got an issue, but do you? Is it fair to criticize Lamar over this?
No, it's not fair to criticize Lamar over this. People don't respect the road travel. They just respect it when they jump on and jump in, usually in the back seat, sometimes in the trunk, and just get carried all the way to that success. This sounds like someone who's like, I have what's best for you. I have your best interests in mind, when you don't know what my best interests are. So in that road travel, it's just interesting to see how people can seem concerned. Okay, I love that. Stop there. Because when you start to criticize or condemn the road travel or what the road I will travel, that's when I have a problem. To get there, you got to respect how I got here and how you get there. And it's funny, I've been in these situations before. You go back home and I'm in the pros and my boys want to race. I used to race them all the time. And I'm like, can't be that same dude, money on the line. But sometimes you get in that position where you're like, let me do what I've been doing, what got me here. And everyone wants to act like they're the doctor. Everyone wants to act like they know exact science on injury. When no one could tell Michael Crabtree when he just hurt himself in his Achilles in OTAs, Kelvin Benjamin, non-contact injury, Teddy Bridgewater, Deshaun Watson, Hunter Henry. I keep going. Well, there's no science to, hey, they were just out there practicing. What happened to him? No one even touched him. I have a list of those guys. I look at this situation like Pro Football Talk, everyone else. Hey, I'm looking out for your best interest, your money. But really, there's another thing at play, and I'll tell you that after this.
I like it. Now you got me waiting on your second lap, hanging on your words. I like it. I like it. I like it. Yes, fair to criticize Lamar Jackson, but particularly if you are a Ravens fan. And why? Because this one hits close to home. Sell, one of the greatest pass rushers of this generation, T-Sizzle. Terrell Suggs. Boy, he is a dude. Now, Ravens fans, remember, T-Sizzle tore his ACL, Terrell Suggs, tore his ACL in 2012 playing basketball. Mind you, 2012 was literally the prime of his career. Only once did Terrell Suggs have 4 double-digit sack seasons over 5 years. He did so in 2010, 2011, 2013, and 2014. The one year he didn't was in 2012. So if you're a Ravens fan, I could see you having a little PTSD. Your star player, because T-Sizzle was a star player on the team at that time. During the prime of his career, because that was the prime of his career statistically at that time, gets hurt on a basketball court. Now, Terrell Suggs, I can't even say he pales in comparison to Lamar Jackson, because if you're a Ravens fan, you wouldn't dare let me utter that. They're fairly equal, in all honesty, to what they've done for the Ravens. I see a Ravens fan saying, nah, Lamar Jackson, what are you doing, big dog? Learn the history of this organization, at least learn the history of the sport.
Well, it's not even that. See, here's my problem with it, other than my other layer, just responding to you, is the fact that they think that there's a science to injury. They think that, oh, my God, if you get hurt in practice, that's better than just getting hurt playing basketball. I'm going to tell you why it's not. Because if I'm hurt, I'm hurt. Don't try to now justify, well, I got hurt non-contact at practice, and that's better in the offseason than me going out there doing something that's going to get me not only physically ready, but mentally ready. Something about reminding yourself that it's just a game is actually something beautiful about what I saw there. When I used to go into these situations and they looked like a little compromising, it was reminding me of the road travel and reminding me of the road I must travel and reminding me that it's all a beautiful game. So I kind of respect where he's going there. But I know why they really criticize him, why they're pouring gas on this one, is because his mama's an agent. And everybody out there is trying to protect that status quo. Hey, as they say when they write these comments, wait a minute, this article is about Lamar Jackson playing football with his friends. No, it's not. It's about this guy not getting a contract yet, and he's going to get it with his mama and not allow us to share in that money. Y'all greedy. Y'all see through, too. Coming up, Giannis has been dominant, but he does not want to be compared to Michael Jordan. Okay. Well, we'll tell you if we like that. And that's next on Speak For Yourself. Y'all found one picture that they look alike, too. That's right. Giannis put the Bucks on his back Sunday, leading Milwaukee to a big Game 3 win over the Suns. Giannis had 41 points and has now scored at least 40 in back-to-back Drake games. Michael Jordan has the record with 4 straight games in the finals, but Giannis does not want to hear any comparisons to MJ. Take a listen.
Michael Jordan had 4 straight 40-point games against the Suns in the NBA Finals.
I'm not Michael Jordan.
Is that in jeopardy?
I'm not Michael Jordan. 40 points in a straight 2.
4 in a row.
Yeah, no, I'm not Michael Jordan.
So, Acho, do you like Giannis pushing back on Jordan comparisons and that media report?
I mean, this comes full circle, Sal. You say duh, but I don't know if another player not of Giannis's descent would have been so humble, which Giannis displayed right there, the humility of realizing that pride comes before the fall. And Giannis's greatest attribute is his hunger and his humility.
No, it ain't. It's his athleticism. Stop.
Nah,
you think it's
athleticism without hunger. We talked about this. You know the cats in the hood? Them cats in the hood, they got athleticism, but they ain't had no hunger.
They ain't got that athleticism. He take 2 steps from half court and he dunking already. I ain't seen that. He different, dog. He an eagle.
Look, Giannis, along with his athleticism,
okay, I'll give you that. Give me that. God, Lord. You hear what Chris Paul said about this dude? He's like, man, he's like, it's a running back coming down the lane. They're like, what can we do?
No, I do think, I like him denying it. His hunger is humility. Giannis, while playing KD, said KD's the greatest player on the planet just to go out and knock out KD's team. Maybe he didn't knock out KD, but he knocked out KD's team. Giannis realizing, no, he's not Jordan. Now, he could be as dominant in a final series as Jordan, but Jordan, 6 titles, no Game 7s. Giannis, he would have to win the next 3 games straight to avoid going to a Game 7. So I love his humility. He knows pride comes before the fall. Giannis isn't going to sit here and even entertain the thought of other people's greatness. He's just trying to do his own.
I agree with that. Like, I love the fact that his mindset is, no, I'm going to pump you up because I want to beat you at your best. Like, I love that. Hey, KD, here's your flowers. Jordan, no, not me. But this one is real. Sometimes you can be false and humble. Like, some people, you look great today. Now, if I walked up to you like, oh, my God, that looks amazing. You're like, oh, this is not that much. I'm like, you're lying. You're false humility, as they call it, right? This ain't false humility. This is, no, you're right. I ain't Jordan. Because Jordan in the finals is a whole different animal, man. 24-11 in his finals career, never went to a Game 7. Giannis is 1-2. That's going to be a long road travel. Free throws, Jordan get the nod. Outside the paint shooting, three-point percentage, records, et cetera, et cetera. You're not Michael Jordan. I like that. I also like the fact that he's like, I'm not just talking about me and Jordan. I'm talking about me and you. Like, the reporter who asked the question, it's a bait question. Like, hey, you think you could be like Michael Jordan? Like, that laugh is trying to trip you into something, like saying, yeah, we're all joking here. And Giannis was like, I'm not Michael Jordan. And I love the fact that he caught that because just a few days ago, y'all were selling me as a bum who couldn't get his team over the hump. And now, all of a sudden, you're trying to sell me the hype of being Jordan-like. Good job, Giannis, catching that one. But what my boy Acho talking about? Don't believe that. Coming up, did Patrick Mahomes throw shade at Justin Herbert? He better not. We'll tell you if we love or hate what he said. Look up to Justin Herbert as you are in that picture. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Patrick Mahomes may have added to the AFC West rivalry between the Chiefs and the Chargers over the weekend. Not that there's much of a rivalry.
Man, you better calm down.
Okay, Mahomes was playing in a celebrity golf tournament when Justin Herbert's name came up. Y'all take a listen.
Watch out for Justin Herbert next year. I'll see it when I believe it.
Yeah. So, Sal, you love or hate Patrick Mahomes throwing shade at Herbert?
I hate it for Mahomes, but I love it for my Chargers and my season tickets. I will be at every single game. Man, he can't even get it out right. He messed the host. I'll see it when I believe it. But I'll believe it when I see it. He got you shook. You can't even golf in peace anymore if you Patrick Mahomes. So you better look out because it's a new sheriff in town, and he coming and taking names.
Nah, Sal, I think he had it right because he's saying that even if he believes it, he would have to see it, but he's not going to see it, thus he's not going to have to believe it. So while you don't think he got it right, I think Patrick Mahomes meant what he said, and he said what he meant.
What? Stop it.
There's
Stop
no,
it.
there's
what
not a
grandma
rivalry.
say? Truth is simple, lies are complex. That was too damn complex. You lying up here right here.
Sometimes intelligence is complex and simple is simple.
Sometimes, yeah, but if you're really intelligent, you can make it simple, even though it's deep. 15 games after the first 15 games. Who has a higher passer rating on deep balls? Herbert. Completion percentage?
Stop.
Right there.
Stop. Go to break.
Hey,
go to Fox Bet.
I can go. Fox Bet Live is next. Look out, Patrick.